The void of space shimmered with the light of distant stars, punctuated by the asteroid-ringed silhouette of Yuuzhan'tar, the sentient homeworld of the Yuuzhan Vong. The living planet pulsed with ancient organic energy, its surface covered in bioengineered ecosystems teeming with unimaginable life forms. This was a world forged by conflict and destruction, its sentience tied to the collective will of the Yuuzhan Vong, a species as warlike as they were zealous. It was said that Yuuzhan'tar's heart beat with the fury of their ancient gods, a force that had once bound them to their galaxy. But their hubris led to their downfall, and in the fires of an ancient war, Yuuzhan'tar was left a shattered echo of its former self. Yet the echoes of that fury had reached across galaxies. The Yautja, predators who sought worthy prey above all else, had taken notice. Among them a lone hunter, cloaked in the silent promise of death, had set his sights on the most zealous and formidable warriors of Yuuzhan'tar. For the Yuuzhan Vong were no ordinary prey. Their mastery of bioengineering had rendered their flesh resistant to technological weapons, and their fanatical devotion made them relentless adversaries. But the lone Yautja's honor demanded he test his skill against them on their desecrated homeworld. And so, the hunt began. Yuuzhan'tar was no ordinary planet. Long before its destruction, it had been a lush, living world, a symbiosis of biology and divinity. Its surface was a writhing mass of organic structures, from mountainous spires of bone to oceans teeming with sentient coral. It thrived under the careful manipulation of the Yuuzhan Vong, who had bioengineered the planet to suit their needs. Even in its ruin, Yuuzhan'tar remained alive, its fragmented consciousness brooding within the debris. Massive tendrils of vine-like structures coiled around the asteroids that orbited the planet, and its surface was a barren wasteland where patches of life struggled to survive in the shadow of destruction. The Yuuzhan Vong, those who had survived the millennia since the planet's fall, clung to this desolation like zealots worshipping a dying god. The Yuuzhan Vong were a species shaped by war and faith. Their bodies, heavily scarred and modified, were both a testament to their pain-worshipping culture and a mockery of nature. They shunned mechanical technology, relying instead on organic constructs, living ships, weapons, and armor, all attuned to their needs through bioengineering. To the Yuuzhan Vong, pain was a sacrament, and their devotion to their gods was absolute. They fought with weapons like amphistaffs, serpent-like creatures that could harden into blades, and Vondoon crab armor, an organic shell resistant to energy-based attacks. Their warriors were fanatical, willing to die in battle for the glory of their gods. It was said that a Yuuzhan Vong warrior's resolve could only be matched by the fury of the gods they served. The lone Yautja, a veteran of countless hunts, was a specter of death. His mask, an artifact adorned with the scars of prior kills, hid eyes that burned with the promise of conquest. His armor, forged in the crucible of hunts on hostile worlds, was a blend of stealth and resilience. Armed with wrist blades, a plasma caster, and a ceremonial glaive, he was the epitome of Yautja honor. Yet this hunt was different. He had followed the faint remnants of Yuuzhan Vong migration patterns to this desolate system, lured by tales of their ferocity. His ship, a sleek vessel cloaked in invisibility, now orbited the ruins of Yuuzhan'tar, scanning for signs of the clan that still dwelled on the cursed planet. Descending onto Yuuzhan'tar's surface, the Yautja moved like a shadow. The air was thick with the scent of decay and the hum of the planet's lingering sentience. His biomask filtered the toxic atmosphere as he navigated the skeletal remains of ancient bioengineered structures. In the distance, the faint glow of a Yuuzhan Vong encampment flickered, the eerie green light emanating from living lamps fed by the blood of small creatures. The first encounter came swiftly. A Yuuzhan Vong patrol, their amphistaffs coiled and ready, moved through the wasteland. The Yautja struck from above, leaping from a twisted spire. His wrist blades found the gap in a warrior's Vondoon crab armor, spilling ichor onto the ground. The other warriors reacted with frightening speed, The Yautja's cloaking device flickered under the impact of an amphistaff, but he pivoted, firing his plasma caster into the heart of another attacker. The battle was brief but brutal, leaving the Yautja bloodied but triumphant. As he pushed deeper into the planet's ruins, the Yautja encountered increasingly fierce resistance. The Yuuzhan Vong clan, realizing they were being hunted, prepared a trap. Bioengineered beasts, hulking monstrosities with snapping jaws and acid-filled sacs, were unleashed. The Yautja's agility and cunning were tested to their limits. He used the environment to his advantage, luring the creatures into a ravine and detonating a plasma mine that collapsed the bioorganic walls onto them. Finally, the Yautja reached the heart of the encampment, where the clan leader awaited. The supreme commander of the Yuuzhan Vong, adorned with ceremonial scars and wielding a massive amphistaff, stood as a towering figure of defiance. Their duel was a clash of gods. The commander struck first, his amphistaff coiling into a whip that lashed out with blistering speed. The Yautja's gauntlet deflected the strike, but the force sent him staggering back. The commander pressed the advantage, switching the amphistaff to its hardened blade form and aiming for the Yautja's head. The hunter ducked, his glaive flashing in retaliation. Sparks flew as the weapons collided, each strike echoing like thunder through the ruins. The Yautja feinted left, then surged forward, his wrist blade slashing across the commander's torso. The Von Doom crab armor absorbed much of the blow, but ichor oozed from the cracks. Enraged, the commander bellowed a war cry and drove the amphistaff downward in a lethal arc. The Yautja sidestepped, spinning behind his foe and delivering a brutal kick that sent the commander sprawling. As the commander rose, he unleashed a bioengineered grenade, a pulsing orb of flesh that erupted into a web of acidic tendrils. The Yautja vaulted away, narrowly avoiding the trap. Using his plasma caster, he fired a precise shot that disintegrated the device before it could fully deploy. The battle intensified, each combatant driven by unyielding resolve. The Yautja's superior tactics and adaptability finally turned the tide. Seizing an opening, he drove his glaive into the commander's chest, piercing both armor and flesh. With a guttural roar, the supreme commander fell, his amphistaff slipping from lifeless hands. The lone Yautja stood amidst the carnage, his armor scarred and his weapons stained. The head of the Yuuzhan Vong commander now rested in his grasp, its expression frozen in a mix of defiance and anguish. It was a trophy unlike any other, a testament to the Yautja's triumph over one of the galaxy's most fearsome species. As he ascended to his ship, the ruins of Yuuzhan'tar seemed to sigh, as if the planet itself acknowledged his victory. He paused for a moment, gazing at the desolation below. This world, once alive with the fervor of its creators, now lay silent, its gods and warriors unavenged. In the vastness of space, the Yautja reflected on the hunt. It was not just the thrill of battle that drove him, but the honor of facing such a formidable foe. Yuuzhan'tar, though broken, had tested him in ways few worlds could. As his ship disappeared into the stars, the legend of the lone Yautja and his conquest of the Yuuzhan Vong would ripple through the annals of both their species, a tale of honor, ferocity, and the eternal hunt.